These talks are intended to disseminate information and to foster discussion on a range of topics related to Ohio University. We seek to embed Ohio University's issues in the context of national discussions about austerity and attacks on the very concept of the public. Just to give you a few quick examples of what is going on out there, in addition to the proposed budget cuts coming from the Ohio system from the new governor, as of January 2011, Arizona was proposing 50% across the board cut in state aid to its universities. This has now been changed to a 20% cut for the four-year institutions and a 50% cut for community colleges in the state of Arizona. Texas's budget proposal has called for the closure of 4 campuses in the state system. California Governor Jerry Brown, a Democrat, has proposed 18% cuts for the California state system, 16.4% cuts for the University of California, and 6.5% for community colleges. The problem crosses political parties and exists in every state in the nation. Because of the dire situation now facing higher education, the entire month of March has been designated as a national month of action to defend education. Today, March 2nd, we join with students and faculty across America as part of this mass movement. Demonstrations and teach-ins are also occurring here at University of Cincinnati, OSU, and at universities and state houses from New York City to California, from Wisconsin to Puerto Rico, across the nation, across the world, in numbers too large to list here. In the planning stages of this event, many students asked me, what is a teach-in? The first teach-ins took place here in the Midwest at the University of Michigan and in California in the mid-1960s as a way to teach and learn about the war in Vietnam. The concept was simple. Academia does not exist in a political vacuum. In fact, one of the major purposes of education in a free society is to provide the critical thinking skills that citizens need in order to participate in the kinds of political discussions necessary to a healthy, vibrant, and active democracy. The most basic elements of a university are its teachers and its students. And today, we constitute ourselves in this teach-in as a university inside a university, as a demonstration of the link between education and democracy in action. We are mobilized as a community in order to respond to the attacks on education and the very notion of the public. Most recently, these attacks are coming in the form of budget cuts and austerity programs for the public that are occurring because money has systematically been diverted from health and education to funding for prisons and war. Even the work of prisons and war has been outsourced to private corporations as part of a system that some have aptly called corporate welfare. The public is under attack. Events in Wisconsin and here in Ohio have shown the connection between attacks on education and attacks on American labor. This is why the fight to save education is connected to the fight workers in Madison and Columbus are waging against bills like Senate Bill 5. This is why our colleagues at University of Cincinnati have chosen to focus on SB 5 in their organizing. SB 5, which is being voted on this afternoon, seeks to strip teachers, firefighters, and police officers of their ability to bargain collectively for wages and health care. Winning these fights and protecting the public is vital to our survival as a free people and a democracy. The public can be held accountable. Public officials can be voted out of office. The faceless entity of the corporation is not politically accountable to any system of ethics or justice. The only way they are stopped is if they go out of business. The public is being put out of business. And we need to all be in the business of saving the public. Because as universities are forced to cut resources because of declining state support, the wages of public workers decline. The buying power of public workers declines. Private companies will be able to sell fewer goods. Private companies will be able to pay fewer workers. Finally, wages and buying power of all working people will decline. As universities are forced to cut resources because of declining state support, the tenure system, a system designed to protect academic freedom and the free flow of ideas, is broken on the backs of a migrant faculty labor force called contingent faculty with no job security that can sometimes barely earn a living wage. All faculty are forced to teach more courses to more students as part of a Fordist speed-up. Long practiced on Americans' industrial workers, it is now applied not only to university professors, but to the entire white-collar workforce in America. Everyone is working harder for less pay. Everyone is paying more for less. As universities are forced to cut resources because of declining state support, tuition rises, making it increasingly impossible for average and working and middle-class people to attain college degrees. As universities are forced to cut resources because of declining state support, students cannot be served with the care they deserve. Class sizes and teaching loads will have to rise to serve students whose tuition dollars universities seek with increasing levels of desperation, simply in order to survive as institutions of higher learning. Public funding sources for scientists in academia dry up, requiring scientists to sell their services to the military or to private corporations. There they participate in making weapons or in making drugs that average Americans cannot afford to purchase because they have insufficient health care and shrinking pension funds. Corporations still have plenty of money because funds have been diverted to them from public programs in the form of favorable tax cuts, tax breaks, and other so-called incentive programs. One example of corporate welfare that hits particularly close to home is the scam of for-profit colleges. The University of Phoenix, for example, set tuition for the 2-year degree program low enough that students could use federal loans called Pell Grants. Phoenix now gets nearly 90% of its revenue from these federal sources, the maximum allowed by law. Up until now, it has been able to reap a 30% profit margin using public funds. Corporate profit going to private individuals gained by siphoning dollars from the public, corporate welfare. These colleges, in which students are conceptualized as customers, sell degrees to people who borrow tuition using dollars from government programs on the promise that a college degree will get them a lucrative job. But lucrative jobs are few and far between as the economy reels from one crisis to the next. Gradually, the idea that college is for job training comes to supplant the idea that college is to educate people, not to fit into an already existing world, but to think of new ideas and create a better future. As a colleague said to me this week, education is not a commodity to buy, but something students and their teachers participate in together. The critical thinking skills learned in university are intended to be part of an ongoing process that lasts a lifetime. The American education system, once the envy of the entire world, is being broken before our eyes. The crisis being visited upon us is rooted in long-standing national and global practices related to priorities that favor private profits over public goods. We can reject this. We can participate in the creation of the kind of university that understands itself to be part of a democracy. We can reject the crass cynicism of the idea that universities are sites for training customers to be workers and consumers who could fit into a system where the real average earnings have not increased in 50 years, while the average CEO's salary has risen 298%. Yeah. We can fight back. We can empower our administrators with our numbers, our passion, and our commitment to go to Columbus and to tell Governor Kasich, hell no. You say cut back, and we say fight back.
Woo!